What's up, everyone? Draft-a-Palooza back on Monday. We're drafting best ball teams all summer long. FanDuel, not FanDuel, but Underdog, a little DraftKings, a little Underdog. We're mixing it up. And theme for today, guys, is I'm working on my worst pick for every round / players I'm not touching this season sort of, let's call it video. So as we're going through the draft today, I kind of want to just point out those players. That's what I'm going to be focused on, pointing out some of those players that I'm just not drafting at any price. Like you hear me saying it, I'll be writing them down, or I'm doing the whole thing. I'll be writing the shit down, the whole deal. So we get into like, who are you avoiding? You see it, you're watching the breakdown, you're watching the picks. Hey, how come he never picks this guy? Well, we're gonna be avoiding people. Now, a couple of important fantasy headlines over the weekend. The biggest one is Quinshon Judkins. Of course, classic. Like I just start talking up Judkins late last week, started getting on it. Cleveland Brown rookie running back Quinshon Judkins found himself in the headlines for the wrong reasons. Domestic battery charges, misdemeanor, the whole thing. So Judkins, sketchy now. What do we do with Judkins? I don't know. Is he going to have a suspension? Maybe. I don't know. If suspension, if warranted, would likely follow only after the case is resolved, with 6 games being a common. So, like, the most likely situation for this for me is with Judkins is that nothing happens. There's nothing. I kind of think that's how I usually go with it. But obviously this adds a little bit of concern with Joe. We don't know what happened. There's just a misdemeanor domestic battery. The guy has no, oh man, yeah, right. That's right. It took him over, and I was like, what the fuck? But meanwhile, listen, Judkins has no history of anything bad. But at the same time, hey, shit happens. Things get crazy. Don't know. So, yeah, which RB becomes important in Cleveland? I don't know. You know, there's Dylan Sampson, who's the back, another rookie. You got Ford there. I don't like any of it. I don't think Cleveland is this great spot for running backs this year anyway. So for the most part, it feels like an avoid to me. Let me just make sure my microphone is let me check on something here. I just thought of something. But I just want to check and make sure that I'm pointing to the right microphone, as I've been hearing. Yeah, it's the wrong one. Okay. All right, guys. I knew it. So check. Here we go. Does that sound better? Hopefully it sounds better. I've been pointing to the wrong mic, and I've been hearing my echoes. I haven't been liking it, and I just checked it, and it is correct. So there we go. Clean that up. Hopefully I sound a little better to you guys. So again, the theme today is going to be players I am not drafting at their current ADP. I don't like the idea of players I'm not drafting because I'll draft anybody at the right price, at the right price. So I don't like that concept of players I'm not going to draft. It's really very much for me at ADP. So let's clarify that. A couple other fantasy headlines. Juwan Jennings asking for a new deal or a trade, blah, blah, blah. Ignore it. This is not anything. He's not making that much money, $7.5 million for like supposed WR1 for his own team. It's an ignore. No one's trading for Juwan Jennings. Maybe the team will give him a new deal. Maybe they won't, but he's not going anywhere. Travis Hunter, coach is saying good things about Travis Hunter. He's working hard. He's trying really hard, et cetera, et cetera. So great. Thank you, Travis Hunter. There's a little note out about A.J. Dillon maybe not making the roster. We already kind of assume that Will Shipley is the backup to Saquon Barkley, not Dillon. We all know Dillon sucks. Like, Dillon has had his chance and he stinks. So I don't think that's shocking to anybody. I'm actually surprised that anybody thought any different. Kamani Vidal fighting for number 3 job. Who cares? Cam Hart shoulder surgery. Quentin Johnston might not get many chances. Quentin Johnston stinks. Trey Harris holding out. What the hell is this about? Okay. And Wandale wants more downfield opportunity. Okay, good. Great. Love for him calling for the ball. So there are your fantasy headlines for the weekend. Nothing crazy. The big one is obviously Judkins, though. That is, sea-changing news. I'm ignoring fully the Jawan Jennings stuff. I don't even care. I already love Pearsall. Don't care. Already on Pearsall. Listen, if Pearsall moves up from an 8th-round pick to a 5th-round pick by draft season, that would be the biggest advantage we could have, having done all these early drafts and having loaded up on that guy. Same thing with Wandy Robinson. I just think we're going to kill it with him. All right, let's get into it. It is time. Back to the Eliminator. Everybody's getting on board the Eliminator, by the way. Here, side note, right? Best Ball Bros, Twitter bros doing Best Ball. And Ray, I know you're on a lot of these shows, or you're watching a lot of stuff. Everybody's talking about the Eliminator now. I'm hearing it here, there, everywhere. Everybody's talking about the Eliminator. They love the format of the Eliminator. I've been saying this shit for months. We've been doing it here for months. Now everybody's like, I'm going to do Eliminators. Yeah. One thing, so love this format. One thing I recommend that DraftKings copy the format. One of the things I don't get it with DraftKings. DraftKings, what are you doing? Okay? What are you doing? You see formats here that people like. They're very easy to replicate. Just do the same thing. The fuck are you waiting for, DraftKings? Everybody's talking about the Eliminator. Make an Eliminator contest. Like, is this hard? Guys, people like something. You have the tech. Do the exact same thing. People, stupid. My man, I appreciate you, Ray. I appreciate it. Hopefully it's entertaining. I don't know if listen, I don't know who's picking better players in a round. I'm trying to have fun. We're trying to have a good time. We're trying to be entertaining. And, some of these picks will work out really well, and other ones will go to shit for various reasons. That's how it goes. All right, let's get back into it. Eliminator, 20 seconds per pick, 10-second entry. Let's do it. Just getting started. Everybody's got to be in this one, guys. Everybody here. How many people in here? We got about 40 so far watching. Everybody get in there. Eliminator. Remember, the Eliminator contest, $10 entry. Half of the field is eliminated every fucking time. Every week. I appreciate you, Ray. I really do. And I appreciate kind words because you don't really, I'm trying to do this, trying to have fun. There's no real, it's not too much in the Draft-a-Palooza for me other than having fun. It gets me to draft a bunch of teams, and I get to hang out with like a hardcore group that's into this kind of shit. And we'll take this all the way through NFL season. We'll be doing these for DFS all throughout the season as well. So it's not like it ends. We keep it going. We keep it going almost all year round. Eliminator. The ADPs are a little bit different in the Eliminator than they are in the Puppy and the other standard like playoff style contests, right? They're a little different. But I'm still going to start to point out players that I'm just not taking really in any format at current ADP. And you guys know some of the names already. You've been watching, so you know. You know who those names are. You know I'm not taking A.J. Brown in round 2. You already know. You know I'm not taking Tyreek Hill in round 3. That's already understood. I'm going to go through the whole thing. We're going to go round by round. We'll try to pick out players that I'm not taking in this round. Round 1 is the hardest. I like everybody in round 1, right? Like, who's not to like in round 1? They're all great. What's not to like? Give me a round 1 player that you guys are like, nope, not taking them. Absolutely not. Like, who's the round 1 guy? I don't know. Fucking Puka. You know what? I'd say this. You know what? I'll give you one for round 1, and it's going to be controversial. It's controversial. I'll give you in round 1. I'll tell you who I'm not taking, especially on underdog. So we'll call this an underdog list because give me the half-point PPR. I'm not taking. Yeah, there you go. I'm not taking Puka. I'm not fading all those guys. That's a lot, right? Don't make me go on record with that many. Yeah, Jameer and Puka, Pollock. I mean, you guys are on board with it. You've been watching this. Jefferson is more of an at ADP guy for me. I love Justin Jefferson. He's the man. I don't know that I want to take him like pick 1.2 or 1.3. So that's more of an at ADP. But I've got a real reason on Puka. The stronger reasoning basis. Why? Yeah. Well, that's your Justin Jefferson thing, right? We don't know if JJ McCarthy's any good. There's this assumption that, hey, Sam Darnold's not that good and Justin Jefferson did great. So, bring in a rookie, that'll be fine. This is a rookie quarterback. We have no idea if he's good. With Justin Jefferson. With Puka, I've got a twofold reason why I'm concerned about it. Number one, and this is the biggest one, it's bigger than anything, is he's just an injury-prone guy. He's had an injury-prone career, right? Puka has been hurt all through the college. Part of the reason people talk about Puka as this amazing pick, late round pick, how the fuck did he emerge? He was a good college player. He just was always hurt. So that dropped him in the draft for that reason. And we've seen it a little bit in the NFL. He's getting hurt. He got banged up last year for a little bit, came back, looked great, right? So, yeah, there we go, Polak. My man. Appreciate you. And by the way, yeah, so I don't want to talk more about listen, I love fantasy football. I've been doing this forever. You get certain senses, and all these stat nerds, they outthink themselves a lot of times with the things that they say. But let's get back into it. So Puka combination, they add Devontae Adams, more of the touchdown machine. So I think Puka, last year we got almost like Puka with by himself, right? Cooper Kupp was garbage, and so everything went to Puka. Now you got Devontae Adams in there, plus Puka injury prone, plus Puka not much for a touchdown scorer. So in the past, doesn't mean he can't score tons of touchdowns as variance, but in the past. So round one, Puka, avoid. Doesn't mean I don't love Puka. I fucking love Puka. I like him better on DraftKings where the PPR is a bigger factor. But in general, I think he's of the round one players. So Puka's got that extra elevated injury risk. And I'll throw the elevated injury risk, of course, on Christian McCaffrey as well. The difference is if Christian McCaffrey doesn't get hurt, I think he's like winning the league for you this year. With Puka, I don't know that he's any better than I don't know that like a Puka is any different or that much better than Malik Neighbors or Amon-Ra St. Brown or everybody else that you can get right after him. So why bother? Why bother? Here we go. Let's see who's in the draft. Oh, my God. This one is crazy. And some of you guys might be in here. If I don't know who you are, let me know. But I see Razor in there on the poll. We got Drago and Soups and Fungul in here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 of you guys in the first 5 picks. You guys will be fighting it out. Fighting Mule, Montreal, Rickster. All right, I do not recognize the other names. So if you're one of the other names in there, awesome. Nate Kohler, if you're in here with us, great. But let me know who you are. T-Sizzles. I like T-Sizzle. I like the name. So here we go. We are on the clock, and let's put up the old draft board. Let's make it big, and we will put that on as the primary thing on the screen. Hang on. Window, draft board. There we go. All right, we got draft board up on the screen. And we're today, like I said, theme of this one, of course, we're doing the eliminator. We're doing our thing. But the theme today is going to be worst pick in every round. We're gonna call it out on the board. Again, this draft will go different than most. We're in the eliminator where the main thing that I've noticed happens is, of course, some of the running backs just get pushed up the draft board a little bit. So that's the only real differentiator between the eliminator and some of the other ones. You're seeing here the running backs really get pushed up, and it's for good reason. For good reason, because in this format, you really need to get off to a hot start. You need to get off to a hot start. Now, I've got a controversial pick for round 2. Not really. Actually, I'm not even going to go with the controversial pick. I'll go with the main one that I have. So, theme of this Draft-a-Palooza today is who are we avoiding? Now, you might say, hey, Ashton Jancy is an avoid in round 1, and maybe could be could be a reach in round 1. Is that Ashton Jeanty that much better than Josh Jacobs who can get round 3? I'm not sure. But in this format, I'm taking my running backs early. So I got Jeanty there. Maybe Regertz, maybe not. But who went after? Puka. There goes Jonathan Taylor. So talk about players getting pushed up. This is what I meant. Jonathan Taylor pushed up to the end of round 1. He's at the end of, he's mid to late round 2 in your standard puppy. This format favors running backs early. You got to get past the first couple rounds. So there, Bucky pushed up as well. I mean, that is very intensely pushed up for Bucky Irving. Shocking, really. And there goes Achane. So we're back on the clock, and we are like solidly in second tier of running back group. So I'm not going that way. They say they zig, we zag a little bit here. Nothing I can do there. So note that, though, everybody, all of the players, Rickster, people who are not here in this chat with us, are on board with this. So this is the word has gotten out. The first eliminators that we were doing, guys, we've been doing this together. The first ones, the draft board went exactly like the other ones. So the draft board was almost identical to the puppy and all that. And look at the change. Look at the change, guys. Now they're doing, and I said from the beginning, this is a format where you want to get 3 stud running backs early. I nailed it. We talked about it. The strategy dictates you want to go for these guys early and often, load up, and now the field is doing it. So I don't know. It's kind of actually annoying. First we had the annoying part of seeing like all the best ball bros getting on the eliminator, talking about this is what we're going to do. We love the eliminator. And I'm like, what the fuck? We've been doing this for a month and a half already. And now I'm seeing that the ADPs are really adjusting properly to how it should be attacked. So the word is out. Maybe our early drafts will give us some edge because they weren't quite like this. So, but clearly the word is out on this contest. All right, round 2. Ray says the worst picks, Bowers, Chase Brown. AJ Brown, not Chase Brown. AJ Brown, Ladd, Rice, Jacob. That's a lot of worst picks. That's too many worst picks, Ray. You got to pick one. I'm going to say, for me, far and away, the worst pick in round 2 is AJ Brown. And that's been all season long, primarily because AJ Brown averaged 16 fantasy points per game last year. And you could get 16 fantasy points per game from a wide receiver in round 4. There's no reason to take AJ Brown there. He just doesn't dominate enough. He's not going to carry your team outside of a few weeks. And the problem with AJ Brown is when he has his on game, great, you win the week. But when he's not on, how can I pull up? What I want to do is pull up his player card so you can see it. You can't do it in this format. But when he's not on, when the Eagles are leaning heavy on the run, this guy gets you like a 6, a 4. He loses you the week. You can't have that in round 2. That is a round 2 nightmare. All right, hold up. We're on the clock. Here we go. Running backs, Cook and Chuba. Wide receiver, T. Higgins. Man, this is way early to take James Cook. Sick over it. Gross. But you got to have running backs in this format. You can't let them fall. All right, worst pick in round 2 so far, guys, on the theme, and then we'll get back to it. Tyreek Hill, for me, is the worst player in round 3. Tyreek Hill, not good last year. Had yak issues last year. They're talking about his wrist. That doesn't stop you from running after the catch. That's number 2. What the fuck happened to Tyreek Hill last year, right? Why would you take Tyreek Hill ahead of Devontae Adams, who's basically the same, but with a better stable situation, on a better team, in a better spot, was better last year? Everything about Devontae Adams is better than what Tyreek Hill was last year. Everything. Wow. I'd love to take T. Higgins here, man. That is a drop for Higgy Smalls, but I got to go with my running back focus. But Devontae Adams, great pick. Round 2. Round 3, Tyreek Hill, terrible pick. He's the worst pick in round 3. And looking at this group, he would say, for me, he's the worst pick for me in that round. So we're watching. Here we go, round 4. This is where you start to see, the rest of the quarterbacks go. In a standard draft, it'd be a little different. You'd have some more running backs here. I don't know why you're building a hill on the no Bowers thing. Bowers is awesome. Like, why would that be your hill? Make a different hill. Get off the Bowers hill. Bowers is good. Good player. You know, Bowers should be better this year than he was last year, which is shocking. He was amazing last year. So, you know, he's got a better QB. All right, worst pick in round 3. It's tough because this is not normally how round 3 looks. I think I know the worst pick in round 3. In this format, guys, I'm going to tell you my worst pick in round 3. I should write this shit down. I got to be writing these down. Worst pick in round 3 for me, Alvin Kamara. Now, I could throw Jamison Williams in there as well, but to me, Alvin Kamara is not a good pick. I'm going to tell you why. Alvin Kamara, a PPR machine, great. Fine. Gets a lot of PPR points. Cool beans. Good stuff. Number 1, that doesn't really work or matter that much in underdog. The problem for me with Kamara is his team is garbage. Like, the Saints are just garbage. They're not even they're not even faking it. They're going in with random late round UDFA style quarterback play. They're just tanking the season away. It looks like they just don't seem to care. I mean, there's been no effort in New Orleans to do anything. No quarterback. They didn't care. They got Tyler Shook. Who the fuck is that? Spencer Rattle, the rattlesnake. They don't know who's starting. Yeah. Get me off of Alvin Kamara in round 3, in round 4. No, thank you. I don't have any shares of him. I have him in some dynasty leagues. All right. So this is a fair reasoning to say, I don't know that Laporta, but maybe Kittle could outscore him. There goes Swift. So you see here the theme of hammering these running backs early is continuing for the field a little bit. We're going to grab the Riddler here. We got our 3 running backs, all starters. Now we got Ridley and Nico Collins, WR1s for their respective teams. I like the way my team is starting. Round 4, though. Continuing the theme of the worst pick in each round. You ready for this? I believe the guy that just went might be the worst pick in round 4, and that's Zay Flowers. Listen, I like Zay Flowers as much as the next guy. He's a good player. But, you know, and it's all relative. It's all relatively speaking. But I think Zay Flowers is just not that good of a pick there. He just didn't – the second half of the season last year, I don't think he cracked 10 fantasy points in this format even once. Wait, where can I see the player card? Can I see the player? No. Very annoying. Wish I could show you guys the player cards here. I can do it when DraftKings is up. Can't show you on FanDuel. But Flowers had like no good games pretty much the whole second half of the season. So I don't like these kind of players that will burn your lineup, that will absolutely destroy you when you take them. And that's really what he represents in my mind. There's Laporta, Jawan Jennings, running backs. We can get Trevi, Henderson, we can get Mahomes. Let's go Trev. I don't know if I love the pick that I just made, but I do like having that 4th starting running back in my early group in this format. I think in this format, if we can have a lot of running backs scoring for us, it's better. But yeah, so Zay Flowers he's up and down. I think his best games last year, he put up like a 20 or a 21, but the volume's not there. And in this format, I just don't like it. I think on Baltimore, you got Derrick Henry taking all. Zay Flowers is similar. It's like a less good version of A.J. Brown, much less good, in the sense that Baltimore is going to dominate with Derrick Henry. It's going to dominate with their defense. It's going to dominate with Lamar Jackson doing his thing. Zay Flowers is just one of so many pieces, and especially with the emergence of Rashad Bateman. I know, Ray Zanny, you're in here. Ray, why not just take Bateman like 5 rounds later? He scored, I think, as many or more touchdowns as Flowers did. Yeah, he just disappears. He can't be relied on. So I don't like it. Do something different with that pick. Like I said, in the same spot where Zay Flowers went, you know, David Montgomery, a touchdown machine, went a few picks later. You know, you got Devontae Smith, who I think is Zay Flowers, but better, went later than him. Lots of other good wide receivers. I think Rome Odunze and Jacoby Myers are all probably superior plays compared to Zay Flowers, or at least similar. So, yeah, no bueno for me. There's Caleb Johnson. I think Caleb Johnson's a good pick here. I think that's the right spot for Caleb Soups. So good stuff there. But let's see here. So we went through round 5. We didn't like Zay Flowers. Round 6. Worst pick in round 6. Oh, there goes Pearsall to Fungul, you fucker. Fungul to yo. Fungul. I can never get my guys to drop to me here in this, of course, because it's just what it is, right? You're not going to let it happen. You're not going to let me have my happiness. You're not going to let me have happiness in life. You're always going to screw me over. I get it. I understand it. This is risky. Risky with Debo. Fat Debo, as they call him now. Round 6. Worst pick? Chris Olave. Easily. And there are plenty of candidates in this round. But for me, it's Chris Olave. The fuck are you taking Chris Olave for? He's a combination of a constant concussion risk. So he's already super risky. He's probably one concussion away from being not in the NFL anymore. And you pile it on with there's no quarterback on the team of note. Yeah, Olave round 6, goodbye. Take a look at round 7. I'm about to be up on the clock, so we're going to have to pick soon here. But looking at round 7, I don't hate any of those picks. Man. Round 7, I don't mind the spot where I don't mind where Odunze was taken. I'm cool with that. I'm going to take Baker here. Kev, why aren't you stacking? I don't stack in the eliminator. Don't worry about it. Forget about it. I don't worry about it. In round 7, let's see. You got Tyrone Tracy. It's okay. I like Pacheco there. I don't mind Odunze there. Caleb Johnson, 5. Love Pearsall. Judkins, maybe sketch. I got no worst pick in this round, guys. I like all of them. Godwin, I like Godwin, Murray, Fields. Maybe it's a little too soon for Murray Fields in terms of taking him ahead of Baker, but that's pretty soft. It's pretty soft. I will say this, though, as we get into round 8 here on this board, and we're going by this draft board. So we're going the worst pick in the round. I don't have one for round 7. I'm leaning maybe Tyrone Tracy. I hate to say it, but Ray, I think Tyrone Tracy would be my guy in this particular draft. It would be Tyrone Tracy. I think that taking him ahead of Pacheco and Judkins, I don't know. Yeah. By the way, the biggest risk. So bring it back to that concussion risk discussion, guys. The biggest risk this whole year is everything to do with Miami. If Tua even just bumps his head, it's not a normal concussion at this point. If Tua even just bumps his head at all, he's gonzo. Forget him. He will be out for 5 to 6 weeks, even if he recovers from the concussion right away. Even if it's one of those concussions where the player is fine right afterwards, okay? Even in that scenario, we will not see Tua on the field. So, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? The big deal is, let's see, we don't have a tight end. Yeah, we need wide receivers and tight ends. I'm going to go with Andrews here, a little touchdown guy as well. And then we're in the backups zone. So back to it, what I was saying, with Tua, the injury risk is so extreme that it actually, I was thinking about Achane as the worst pick in round 2. He might be the worst pick in round 1. The problem with making Achane a worst pick at all is if Tua stays healthy, Achane might be one of the better picks. And that's why I feel like with Achane, you better know what you're getting into. Achane is the highest risk, and it's because it's double. It's not just that we're worried about Tua concussing himself, we're also worried about just Achane getting hurt because he's a little dude, and little guys get hurt all the time. So like, it's a almost like a triple whammy going on with Devon, where it's not just the risk of him getting hurt, which exists. That's a real risk, right? He can get hurt. Okay, that would suck. It's not just that. It's also a bonus risk of his quarterback getting hurt, which who the fuck wants that bonus risk in their life? So just a note here. I got Rashad Bateman, round 10.4. We talked about Zay Flowers as a bad pick in round 5. I just got basically Zay Flowers light 5 rounds later. That's how you do it. Why the fuck would I take Flowers there when I can just take Bateman, and they'll probably have a similar number of touchdowns this year? And again, this format, the only thing that really matters is touchdowns. What else matters? Nothing else matters. Speaking of nothing else matters, we're talking worst picks in every round, but also, I will bring up the fact, speaking of nothing else matters, that Metallica was at the Ozzy farewell concert last week, and all of it was just glorious. My whole like shorts feed is basically clips from the Ozzy Osbourne farewell concert, and I'm having all kinds of nostalgia now for Ozzy. Here we go. We're picking away. It's going to be a minute. So we saw a run on quarterback happen here in round 10, and fine. It's tougher. We're beyond the point of bad picks. I don't know that I'm going to be able to keep this going this far in. So, I mean, who's a bad pick? Yeah, I got nothing here. In these rounds, take who you want. So I think that the worst pick per round theme probably ends around, round 9, round 7 or 8. After that, take whoever the fuck you want. I will say, though, Dante Thornton there for Fungul, that's one of the worst picks, dude. What are you doing, bro? That's way too soon for that kind of a player. That's way too soon. Dante Thornton is a last pick in the draft dice roll. You can't be taking him there. Not in this format, especially in this format where you got to, no, absolutely not. That's worst pick in it. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, this is where you get an idea in your head. You get all excited about it. That idea is only fun when you're getting a crazy bargain price on the player. Like you don't want to be picking Dante Thornton here. There are other good players still floating around. There's still good running backs. Still good wide receivers that are starters. Yeah, you don't take Thornton there. Too soon. I love that I don't have to stack in this form. Just take whoever you want. That's what's fun about the Eliminator. I keep thinking, I should correlate. And then I remember, no, I shouldn't correlate. Like, it's not needed. At first I thought, yeah, I should correlate. And then I'm like, no, wait a minute. Don't need that. No correlation necessary here. Yeah, but back to it. Everything associated with Miami. Think about this. If Tua even just bangs his head, like a normal player, they get concussed, they're coming back the next week. K-Sizzle, are you the same as T-Sizzle? Hang on. Based on strength of schedule, which of these teams would you stack in Best Ball Superflex? Not that Superflex matters. Hang on. Let's. I'm just making sure my pick isn't. Yeah, here we go. So we have a minute here between picks. Good question. Good question for the chat as well. I mean, you've got San Francisco, New England, Buffalo, New Orleans, Atlanta. So right off the bat, New Orleans does not. I don't know about strength of schedule as the reason for this. I would look at other reasons, but I think Atlanta is one of the funnest teams to stack this year. They're easy to get a stack going. The players. So K-Sizzle, I'd rather focus on how hard is it to build this stack and how strong of a stack can we build. New England, solid stackable team. They are in a conference with decent offenses. I like New England for it, of course. You can get Drake May. And all the players in the New England stack, you can get them super late. So it's a very cheap stack to build. Like, how much does it cost you to build a stack? The other one is Atlanta. Very cheap to build that stack. You know, you get Penix. Darnell Mooney, super available late. There we go in round 9. Love Darnell. Drake London in round 2. So the cost of this stack, London, Mooney, it's a second. Mooney, a 9th rounder or a 10th rounder. And then Penix, who's about an 11th or 12th rounder. Fine. That's a cheap stack to build. We like that. Oh, we're on deck. Hold on. We're on deck. Oh, we're on the clock. Even worse. Let's go with, you know what? A little feeling action going. A little early season feeling. Never a bad thing. Early season, early feeling action. Hunter Henry, speaking of that, and back to your question, K-Sizzle. Drake May, very comfortable, easy. Oh, there goes Wandy. I was going to get him on the next round. Drake May, very comfortable, easy stack to build. Why is it easy to build? Because no one likes any of the wide receivers on New England, and no one likes the tight end. But everybody likes Drake May. So you get Drake, but in these contests, because no one wants to stack him, you get them all for cheap. So you grab Drake May. What's that? Round 11, 10? You get Stephon Diggs. Let's look at the Drake May stack, and we'll show how much it costs in this draft in a second. But let's see here. We have 2, 5, and 1. We need a tight end here. I don't like Janu Smith. I don't like them. I'm going to go with Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz was pretty acceptable last year at tight end. I don't think he's going to have this great year, but whatever. We're at 2 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 5 wide receiver, 2 tight ends. So we can use wide receivers, we use more tight ends, and more quarterback as well. All right. Where was I? Yeah. So let's take a look at what it would take to build a Drake May New England stack, right? First, we're going to find where these players went. So Drake May, not yet. Where'd he go? Drake May is going to be awesome this year. He's one of those names that he's one of the reasons why. There he goes. So you get Drake May in round 9. Diggs, what, round 7 maybe? Where's Diggs go? Yeah, round 7 Diggs, round 9 Drake May. And then right here is where you get the other wide receiver, Williams, right now. So round 14. And Derrick Henry. It's a round 13, 14. So the whole thing is a Kyle Williams. There he's at the end of round 14. The whole thing, the May stack is super cheap. The New Orleans stack, unstackable. I don't even know who the quarterback is in New Orleans. Definitely don't want to stack that shit. Fuck New Orleans. But so that's a no. But I like Atlanta. Atlanta's very cheap to build. And then, of course, Buffalo is Buffalo. Not really a very stackable team, if you ask me. I think that Buffalo is not a team you want to stack. Josh Allen, last year, we did a whole season. We're going to do this. We're going to do back testing season all summer long. You know how we're doing Draft-a-Palooza? We got back test-a-Palooza. DFS training coming in August, guys. So make sure you're around for this. We're going to have fun. We're going to hang out. That'll be a nighttime activity. Be an evening activity. And I dare say there could be some smoke action, a little vape action happen, a little gummy, night gummies. You got to get your head in the right space for back testing. It's a lot. It's a lot to do. It's a lot of hanging out. It's a lot of togetherness time, guys. It's a lot. But we're going to relive the whole 2024 season. And one of the things that you'll note, because I played the 24 season, I lived it in real life, in real time, was Josh Allen. I don't think, maybe once or twice, Josh Allen was the nuts QB a lot of times, but it was pretty rare that you actually needed to have him stacked with anybody. It was actually preferable to not stack him. Okay? As crazy as that sounds, with Josh Allen last year, you were actually just better off unstacked. He would just run for touchdowns. So, to close off that theme, when you talk about stackable, By the way, yes, Scummy Time that is what will be happening. Yes, I'm keeping it real. As we're back testing, we're getting into the mental state. So that's coming. Back testing is like the key to being good at DFS. If you're going to, let me put it like this. If you're going to play DFS, there's 2 different ways to play it. We've got really 3 ways to play DFS. So let's get into that a little bit. 3 ways to play DFS. Where's my screen? Okay, here we go. Will Shipley, I was going to take him. If he got to me, do not let Will Shipley get past you when he's like on the board, guys. Got to take Shipley when he's available. Tight ends. We're still taking tight ends. We need tight ends and wide receivers. I've got 5 running backs, three QBs. We just need tight ends and wide receivers at this point. I'm going to go with the rookie. I don't like going with a rookie here. Fuck. I'm going to do it. He's one of our guys. He's there. He's on the thing. It's fine. Dylan Sampson goes to the Rickster. Maybe Dylan Sampson emerges as the guy in Cleveland with Judkins, maybe missing some games. But what if he doesn't miss some games? Who knows? All right, let's get back into the DFS thing. There's three kinds of DFS for football. 3 lineup building styles. What are the 3? Of course, there's cash games, right? That's the easiest, not the easiest, but the most basic format. It's kind of like the Eliminator. Want to build a good team that's going to get past the week. The best thing to do in a cash game is literally, we have an advantage at DFS Army in that our projection model is the most accurate projection model ever conceived for fantasy outcomes. And therefore, really just using the optimal lineup is a great way to attack a cash game. I certainly recommend, or I don't mind, when you take an optimal lineup from the Domination Station optimizer that we have at DFS Army, you could take that and just literally play it in head-to-heads, and you'd probably be okay. I don't mind, though, if you went in there and said, hey, I'm going to run the optimal, but I really want to use quarterback X, or I'm going to lock in this one player or a couple of names or this defense. I want to play a cheap defense. Whatever it is, you want to add a little something to it, cool. But just playing the optimal, that's what you do in cash game. Not that much to do. We really just want the highest projected floor ceiling combination for every player in the lineup, right? I'm going to find running backs that are getting a lot of touches or expected to get a lot of touches and play 3 of them. That's how we play cash games. Fine. Then you have 2 different styles. On the one hand, it's what I call single entry or hybrid, right? And that's where I'm going to handcraft a lineup to go up against, I don't know, anything from 50 to 450 entrants, depending on the dollar amount and the contest size and that kind of thing. But lower is better, right? I use the same kind of lineups to attack what is our favorite contest type in DFS Army, which is the 10X. And the 10X is a contest where as long as you come in, as long as you place in the contest, wow, Waller, huh? As long as you place in the contest, top 10%, you get paid 10 times your entry fees. Okay? So that's how the 10X contests work. And I love that because what we discovered, top 10%, a 10X on your money. Think about this. What we discovered last year in sort of breaking down what that contest is, and then I'll talk about like how you build lineup for it. But what we discovered last year was, listen, when you enter a tournament, if you finish top 10%, you enter a tournament, you pay $10 to get in there, you might just get 15 back, and that includes your 10. So your profit might be $6 or $7 on a large GPP that you enter. It might be $10. I forgot to check my bye weeks. This could be a disaster. Let's see. Nope, we're good. Luckily, by random chance. So one of the things I constantly harp on these eliminators is you have to make sure you don't have these overlapping bye weeks. They're going to fuck you over. and you'll just be eliminated that week if you have too many guys out. Because again, this is a crazy format. It's very high variance week to week. You're just getting matched up with an opponent. So, you go in a week and you don't have your running backs, you're dead. But I did not have any overlapping bye weeks. A little bit, Janty and Trey Benson, but that's nothing. So I look pretty good as far as like overlapping. But all 3 quarterbacks have their own separate bye. The tight ends, there's a little overlap there. Wish I could have gotten one more tight end really in this mix, but it is what it is. I took Sanat. I probably could have taken Higbee. I had a little regret here. I'll show you my little regret on the screen here. Was here with this pick of De'Ami Brown. I should have just taken another tight end like a Theo Johnson or Jawan Johnson there. So I could have done that a little different. That's the only really regret. But there you go. Todd N was in there. Sanders on Dallas now. I don't know what you're talking. Oh, I think he's thinking of Miles Sanders. But Todd N was in there as Lexi Dog at the. Oh, that's you. Okay, there we go. So all right, we'll do a little breakdown. We got Lexi Dog in here with us, so we had an extra player in there. The early grab of Jonathan Taylor. But by the way, I'll just justify this. I did take the backup to Ertz with Sanat. And again, this format, I've told you guys, we don't really want to handcuff in most of these best ball tournaments. This style, you can take handcuffs because we're just playing cash games here. We're just trying to get past the week. And Ray, you will enjoy the back testing shows. You will enjoy it. So again, let me get into. So I got to finish this whole theme. Like I get crazy. So what was the theme? 3 different styles. So the second style I talked about, smaller tournaments, anywhere from 50 entries up to about 400 entries, and I will include the 10x multiplier in this because the 10x multiplier is bread and butter. You put $50. You put you could put. There's also there's a 10x and a 40x. So the way we like to work the multipliers is the bread and butter is the 10x. Put your $50 in there, $20 in there, whatever. $50 is a great amount. 10x, do 10 of them. I only need one lineup out of 10. 1 out of 10 to be in the top 10% to pay for 10 entries. If I get 2 lineups out of 10 in the top 10%, and I can build top 10% lineups like that, we could build that by hand. If we get 2 in the top 10%, now we've doubled our money. Assuming it's $50, we won 500 and 500. Now we're at 1,000. Okay, so we've doubled our money. But wait, there's more. That's not it. So those 10x multipliers, build 5 lineups or 10 lineups for those. Let's say you do 5 of them. 1 of them hits. Now you've doubled your money, right? You put in $250, $50 10x, bam, got back 500. Only need 1 to hit. Again, 2 hit, you've smashed. But wait, there's more. There's a second contest that is a 40x, where you need to place the lineup in the top 1.5%. So you effectively need a top 1.5% line, a really good one. So put $10 in that, you win 1,000. 100x. No, you put $40 in that one to win 1,000. That is the 40x, called the Super Booster on DraftKings. So take those same lineups I'm putting in the 10x multiplier for $50, and I put them in the 40x multiplier as well, let's say for a $10 entry. Only one of those needs to hit. That's another $400 hit. So those are handcrafted lineups. We build those on the Players Club every Saturday in DFS Army. And you don't need to, in order to get a top 10% or even a top 1.5% lineup, the problem in DFS is, or the difficulty is, there's some obscure player that you didn't think of for 3K that goes off, or a random tight end, whatever that crazy outlier play is that wins the big tournament. Those players are not in these smaller tournaments. You could just construct a really solid, well thought through lineup, and you'll be able to cash. You can even win those contests. You don't have to find the crazy turd, the De'Ami Brown the week he goes off for 2 touchdowns. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. So there's that. And then the third style, and so we handcraft those. We're going to build smart lineups, nicely correlated. Fine. But the third lineup, and this is where the back testing comes mostly in. The third style is using the domination station optimizer or using any optimizer out there. This is what a lot of people do to attack the big contest with the 50K and the 100K prizes, right? If you want to both showdowns and full slate. So if you want to win those, you just don't jump on any optimizer, start throwing shit out there and wondering why you're not winning, right? It's hard to win. So what we do here is let's backtest it. Let's learn the best settings, the best approach. Let's see what fading the chalk does. What if we just looked at the highest owned players each week and said, fade that shit? Then what, right? What are going low owned? A lot of the sites out there right now, they push something called sims. Contest sims. What's a contest sim? It's just a fucking ownerships, right? Contest sim in the end of the day is just projected ownerships. We have that. You're going to pay $300-$400 for a tool that basically gets you low on lineup. We can do that. We have that setting on the domination station. So we're going to use that without the sim. We just ownership limits, caps. That's how you replicate a sim tool and does the exact same thing. But again, in DFS Army, we're not charging. We're the site for every man. That's what we've always been. We're the site to bring DFS to the people. That's what we do. And so, of course, we don't charge much, but it's the same idea. But we're going to take those tools and we're going to practice with it. We're going to rerun the entirety of the 2024 season using the tools. We have backtest mode. It shows both the projection and the final score of the player. So we can optimize based on the projection that was there that time, and it's all real and true and what it was. And then we can go back and sort the final result by the actual final result score of those lineups and see if we're able to produce tournament winning lineups, what settings we need to use to produce those tournament winning lineups, and what we need to change. So anyway, I went off for a long time on DFS stuff during Best Ball Palooza. You guys are like, let's talk about my lineup. So that's what we'll be doing. We'll be going through and we'll be practicing using the domination station optimizer to attack showdowns and to attack full slates. We might, if we have the whole summer and we have enough time, we can break it down even further. We can get into like afternoon and early if we can find those contest results as well. So we could all right, if we're at a 12-team game slate, it's one thing, but what if we're doing an early slate, a 5-game, a 4-game? So a lot of different approaches that we can do like that. All right, guys, let's just jump into the next draft. I'm not going to break down how everybody did. Not even doing it. Not even doing it. Here we go. All right, let's bring it back up here. So we did our eliminator. I'm moving on. Love the lineup I built. Don't care. We talked through some of the players we don't like in each round. Let's do it again. Let's try another contest here on Underdog. I don't like to do. Yeah, the Shark Report is a Sharp app feature, but yes, it's awesome too. If you like to bet on sports, we have the Sharp app has, of course, the ultimate tool, the arbitrage tool. There's no better tool for sports betting than the sports betting arbitrage tool at Sharp app, because every single time you make a bet, you're winning that bet. It's an arb. We're betting both sides, and we win every single time. I print cash at the sports book now like a job. The arbitrage tool at Sharp, it's like a work. I can just sit down, I get to work and make $200. I print it out over the course of an hour or two every night, and it's just like a way to make $200 every single day. Oh, there we go. Yeah, pasta's in here. You know, that's what's up, man. Isn't it amazing? You're talking about this. Yeah, the Shark Report. That's right, not the Sharp Report. Yeah, the Burns' report. It is Burns is the man. Burns is the man. But yeah, ARB tool, how do you not love that? It's basically, instead of having a job where you go make coffees for people at Starbucks or help people out at the Home Depot find their bullshit, you can just make $200 every single day. Arbitrage betting, it's crazy. And you always win. All right. Which one are we doing now? Want to go with, let's see here. Let's go to NFL tab and let's see what contest we have going on. If there's a super flex, I wouldn't mind doing that. Corgi, Greyhound, Dalmatian, Puppy 2. I mean, we'll probably do Puppy 2 here. Weekly winners. I don't like weekly winners. We got what's his name? We've got Fling covered the weekly winners. So let's go back to Puppy 2. It's a standard. I mean, I don't mind the marathon either. It's kind of the same thing as what we just did. I like the marathon as well, guys. All right, I'll put it to a vote. Marathon or Puppy 2? The marathon is where there is no weekly. You're just putting up a big score. Whoever has the most points wins, period. 100K for the highest scoring team. That is a very intense thing. Every single score counts. And, yeah, everybody, I'll be honest, I could keep doing eliminators constantly too. But we got to switch it up. We got to switch it up because we have to see at the end of the year, like, what does better. So, I don't know. I'm kind of leaning this Puppy too. Everybody loves these puppies. Ray Zanny's in here with us. Yeah, he owns the puppy. Basically, puppy's his bitch. Let's go. All right, Puppy 2, guys. $5 entry, 20-second timer, LFG. Yeah, Fact says the pup. Fine. All right, we're in the pup. We're in the pup. Fact, you're going to hang out with us for 420 back testing? A little back testing? Use the Domination Station Optimizer? And as a bonus, oh, here we go. We are live. That was quick. So these are filling up fast, and I don't see names that I recognize at all, guys. Did we not get in here? Did any of you make it? I don't think so. I don't think so. Sorry. Looks like I'm rolling solo, but this will be a better version of the like how a standard underdog draft goes. So picking quote unquote the worst pick in each round will probably look a little better here, just based on like this is the puppy. It's not the eliminator where people have adjusted in the eliminator. I think because they're watching my shit. I don't know. I don't watch anybody else's, but like I think they're watching my shit and they're like, hey, we should take running backs early in this format, and now that's what they're doing. So I don't know. The eliminator, though, has adjusted. So here we go. We are live, and the picks are going off here. Let's set up the old draft board on screen. Stop sharing. Share the different screen. It's weird that I have to do this awkward changeover, but that's how I have to do it. So already, you want to talk about a draft going different? Look at how different this draft has started. Barkley goes 5th. Excuse me? Pardon, senora? Are you serious right now? Yeah. Gets crazy. It's a good idea, I feel like, in these. And Ray Zanny, I'll ask your thing there. What does the red badge mean on the underdog? Off the schneid. That means highly experienced. Watch out for that guy. Highly experienced. Notice I don't have an experience badge. Underdog really didn't work here in New York up until very recently. I have not even done enough of these to get an experienced badge as of yet. So take that for what it's worth. So yeah, obviously this draft already going super different. You're seeing a run on early wide receivers going. These are all first round guys. So let's see what happens right here if like anybody jumps a spot. That would be maybe taking a Brian Thomas or something like that a little sooner than where they normally go. I'm not seeing anybody doing that. I'm not big on weight for running backs, no matter what happens. It's just not what I'm going to do. There's Henry. I think this guy's auto-picking. Oh, no. Okay, so we're on the clock. We're going to take Derrick Henry here. And I think I'm just going to double down at running back. I really want to take Achane, but I went off on how risky he is. But I don't care. This is best ball. We're going for it. Achane, fully at risk for, falling by the wayside if Tua gets hurt. And as a matter of fact, in this format, I think Achane's extra dangerous. Extra dangerous. Think about this. It's one thing in the eliminator to take Achane early, figuring, hey, he's going to be there for the first 3, 4, 5 weeks of the season. But to assume that Achane will be there, I kind of wish I could have that pick back. Because now the more I think about it, in this format, assuming Devon Achane will be there late season, that is putting a lot of faith in Tua not getting concussed all year. I just think that's probably misplaced faith. He's probably going to get concussed. There you go. Worst pick in round 2. Could be Achane in this format, but certainly is A.J. Brown there. Why would you take A.J. Brown ahead of Brian Thomas? Makes no sense. It's just not a good pick. There's no other way to put it. It's just not a good pick. Round 1, best and worst, I'm sticking to it. Puka at pick 8 in this format. Why? Why take Puka ahead of Nico Collins or Amon-Ra or even Brian Thomas? Why? No point. How much benefit are you getting versus the extra risk? I say not enough. Round 2 so far, A.J. Brown remains the bad pick in round 2. He will always be. And Tyreek Hill, of course. So Tyreek Hill going to round 2 is ridiculous. That's even worse than A.J. Brown. So in this particular round 2, Tyreek Hill is right up there with A.J. Brown as the worst pick. Why are you taking Tyreek Hill there? There are wide receivers without all those question marks still available. There are great running backs available at that moment when you're doing that. Interesting that, remember, in the last draft we just did, Bucky Irving went at the top of round 2. Now he's at the bottom of round 2. So look at how the difference between the eliminator and the puppy is significant. T. Higgins right at the beginning of round 3. Remember, in the puppy, in the eliminator, he went in round 4. The running backs got so pushed up that Higgins lasted until round 4. I like Devontae right there. Interesting to see him go ahead of Garrett Wilson and Jackson Smith and Jigba. Interesting, right? Because we've been getting him after, but they jumped it a little bit here in this particular one. So, okay. Chef Keith. Chef Keth. Fine. Chef Keth. Anybody in here? Any of you guys in this draft with us? No. Yeah, all of this, 100 catches, sure. Could he get there? Yes. Could he have an RB1 season? Probably. But again, with Achane, the risk is Tua gets concussed and then Achane turns into a toad. He goes from a prince, he reverses and turns into a toad. That's what happens with Achane. I guarantee you. We've seen it. His splits without Tua are horrific. By the way, the backup quarterback in Miami is not any better than what it's been. They got Zach Milson. So in the past, they've had these horrific backup quarterbacks that were so bad that it was like, maybe the reason that Achane sucks so much when Tua goes out is because the whole team stinks because the quarterback situation is terrible. But the reality is, no. Oh, JSN, I almost got him. All right, so here we got to take Kyron, get our third running back. Got to do it. I'm going to go and jump past Mike Evans. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I haven't built a Baker Mayfield lineup yet. I don't know that I don't have much exposure to Mike Evans this year, guys. I almost have. This might be the first time I've taken him. This might be the first, but I do have to think about stacking and all of this. So, but this might be the first time I've taken Mike Evans all season. Why? Why have I been avoiding Mike Evans? I like Mike Evans. He's great player, this and that. I just feel that another year older, the guy has hamstring issues, and I just have this premonition that Evans is going to be out for long periods of time with hamstring injuries. Now, I also realize that me having like a premonition about something is really stupid and not predictive, right? It's not actually predicting anything. It's just kind of stupid. So, but it's like how I feel. But at the same time, then I started to think, you know what? Let's get a couple of shares just in case, right? So I've been avoiding him. And yeah, Soups, what you said, right? He had the monster week here and there, like during the playoffs, and it, it could burn you. Mike Evans has buried people with monster weeks on occasion, and he can do it. So it's like, why am I taking such a principled, I am not drafting this guy stand? And I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, fuck that stand. I'll take some Mike Evans, whatever. Yeah, here we go. Worthy, Jammo Williams. Worst pick in round 3. So we went through these, right? Worst pick in round 3. I actually have a worst pick for round 3, and I think it's Marvin Harrison. When I look through like all the picks from this round, Marvin Harrison at the beginning of the round to me seems like not that good. Marvin Harrison really didn't do anything last year to make you think he's going to be able to carry your team as a wide receiver. I think that, Garrett Wilson can carry your team. JSN might be able to carry your team. Even DJ Moore, who went after, can carry your team as a wide receiver. I don't know that Harrison's going to do that. The volume wasn't there for him, and it's just probably not going to be there in that offense. So I'm going to say Marvin Harrison in this draft, worst pick in round 3. In round 4, let's see. We got Waddle a little early. Yeah, I'll go with, it's a little soon on Waddle, so I'm not in love with that. Yeah, that's how I would go. Round 5 so far. Worst pick in round 5? Kamara. So I'm not switching it up. Same guy. I'm not switching up my thought process. All right, we've got 3 we've got 3 running backs on the team. Just now starting to get to the wide receiver group. Pick round 5. I'm going to go with Godwin. Let's just keep pushing this theme here. 60. I'm going to take Baker and get my stack and complete it. I took it a little early, but that's kind of what it is if you're picking on the turn, right? So I got my Evans, Godwin, Baker Mayfield stack. Is Godwin going to be healthy to start the season? I don't know. Whoever trades for Jameis, I think it should be New Orleans or the Browns, but I think it should be New Orleans. But it's the Browns that are the other candidate for that. The Browns are really the only other team. As far as I can think, the only other team that really isn't set at QB. Yeah, that's fair also. Godwin, I don't have much of. I started out really liking Godwin, and then I kind of read some reports about his health, and he might not be ready for the start of the season. So, but I think actually, with Godwin and Evans, the chances of both of these guys getting through the season healthy is really low. I love it, Booga. Trevion Henderson drops a little bit here. Again, Olave, worst pick in the round. No matter what round you're taking Chris Olave in, he's generally going to be the worst pick in that round. So, avoiding Olave, I got to write this shit down. Like, I will forget because I'm trying to make a video out of this. I'm trying to make a video, guys. Olave, worst pick. Round 6. We got Kamara, round 5. Worst pick in round 4. I don't have one that I hate in round 4. Maybe Waddle, but I like Waddle. In this draft, I would have said Harrison in round 3. Round 3. There we go. I like the Pickens pick there for Ghost Rhino. Any of you guys? I'm soloing this one, right? Yeah, I would agree. I think Godwin is a very concerning pick. I think Brandon Ayuk is way worse, but Godwin is concerned. You can't get past it. It's a concerning pick with Godwin. Will he be healthy for the start of the season? I don't know. There goes Pearsall, Chef Keth. Good pick. I knew Pearsall wasn't going to make it back to me. I really thought about taking Pearsall with my second pick. Probably should have. You know what would have been there? Maybe Baker might have still been there for me. I could have risked it for the biscuit with Baker instead of what I did and taken Pearsall there because I think Baker might have made it back to me. So far, we've only got 2 wide receivers, 3 running backs, and a quarterback. So obviously, the wide receiver group is a little bit soft. Going to have to strengthen it up, and we'll do that with our next couple of picks. There's still good wide receivers on the board, but the drop-off is, severe. Yeah, there we go. So we're going to take Ibuga just to complete this crazy stack that we're building. I still need more wide receiver talent, so I'm going to add Darnell here. Hindsight, as I'm just looking at how the team looks and came together. Again, in this format, I think in the future, I'm going to go. I understand why. All right, so my head is in the eliminator space, and that's cool. But realistically, if we're trying to win this contest, and Razor, you should be, the king of this. When you think about how this contest works, you've got 2 things that you're trying to achieve in the puppy. First thing is we're trying to, Brandon Ayuk, I don't like that pick. First thing is we're trying to get to the playoffs. And the second thing is we need to advance through the playoffs. 2 completely different strategies that require somewhat different approaches. Getting to the playoffs means sort of like, hey, let's win our weeks and this and that. But getting through the playoffs means you have to have a super team coming on strong and improving as the season progresses. So how do you build a super team? What are some of the things that have to happen, that have happened in the past for people that allow them to make it in this contest? Well, I think a big strategy that a lot of people use in Puppy, and again, Ray Zanni's in here with me. A lot of you guys are, super experienced players in this, so you know this already. Soups, all you guys have been doing this for a while. The best way to come on strong late is, so what a lot of people do and have done in this contest in order to try to win it is, it's a lot of times really just discovering that late talent that emerges and helps carry your team, right? Late round picks. So last year, I'll give you a perfect example, because the ultimate guy who was in winning lineups last year was Chase Brown. Now, Chase Brown was not some round 17 turd. You had to take him in that second level of running backs, right? In the round 8, 9, that zone. I would put like some names like that could emerge and just be just like that, like the Jordan Mason zone. Round 8, round 7, round 9, this zone. In this area, if you pluck a running back that turns into a beast late, you're winning. Who could that be this year? Again, I'm just looking at the zone, even right here, and I'm talking Mason, Pacheco, Judkins, DeAndre Swift. Yeah, he was around 7, and he didn't do anything for you. Like, he was round 7 last year. He did nothing for you until he kind of emerged as the starter, and then he started absolutely dominating, right? So that's how it went last year. And if you waited to take that running back in round 8 and round 7 and round 9, your team ended up having a lot of wide receivers who were super good and also a stud quarterback, which was helpful last year as well. There were weeks where, in the fantasy playoffs, you had like, what's his name? You had Lamar Jackson maybe putting up a 40 or somebody like that putting up a monster score. So let's see what running backs are left here. We got a double pick. Yeah, Charbonnet last year also was one of these names that carried your team for a while. You had Charbs. But in order to pull it off, so you had Chase Brown, and you're thinking, hey, that's not enough. But the same person who took Chase Brown didn't need to have taken a running back in round 1, so they wound up with Jamar Chase, and that helped you get there. Or they wound up with somebody else good of that style. So yes. Okay, so here we go. And this is the theme, right? Soups, you're hitting on something that's really important. And again, this is why I believe in this format, the wide receivers get taken a little early. So running back production sometimes gets better when the backup comes in. Sometimes actually better. I don't want to use Jahmyr Gibbs as the extreme example last year when Montgomery went out, but the big example for me is like a Zach Charbonnet last year. Zach Charbonnet, as a fantasy asset with Kenny Walker injured, is better than Kenny Walker when Charbonnet is healthy and splitting touches with him, right? So Kenny Walker is less good, and he's the starter than what Charbonnet is when Walker's hurt, because Walker has Charbonnet taking away his snaps. Charbonnet has nothing, right? So Charbonnet becomes a superior player to the player behind him. So when you get that backup and they enter the game and the starter goes, he can replicate it, right? But if on the same team, let's say Jackson Smith and Jigba goes down, well, it's not like whoever the WR2 is on the Seahawks will all of a sudden become awesome. They probably won't. Like it's hard to replicate that. Exactly like what you just said. Yes, it is the Benson theory, but there's others, and we need to think about that. So that could be the theme of this draft. Who are the running backs that have league-winning upside if the starter goes down? You mentioned Trey Benson. Yes. Like, who are the running backs that we could just wait on? And there's a bunch of these guys. There's more secure ones, and then there's less secure ones, right? There's ones we know for sure. Here's Scattaboo and Tyrone Tracy. I feel like together, neither is that great. But if one goes down, I think the other one will do really well. Ramondre Stevenson could be that. I know Ray Zanny, my boy, taking a lot of Ramondre. Ramondre really probably only has a great year if the other guy goes down. And similarly, if like Travion Henderson goes down. Jarquez Hunter, I'm not sure about because, again, Jarquez Hunter is not definitely the backup on his own team. There are other players that might be the backup. So I don't know. Is Jarquez Hunter definitely getting the full workload if a starter goes down? I don't know. There's some other names that are in betweener names. DJ Giddens from the Colts. Will Shipley, will he get the full workload if Saquon goes down? Is that the name that's going to carry us? Yeah, Chubb for Mixon, maybe. Could be, right? If Chubb still has it. Mixon gets hurt a lot. I like this call, Adam. Mixon gets hurt a lot. He's been hurt all throughout his career. Could happen. I'm not sure if Chubb is good to go. I like that. I'm not 100% sure that Nick Chubb is, still anything. Oop, we're on the clock. Let's get Benson since our theme are these backup running backs. But, in this zone here, Isaac Orendo, yes. Jalen Wright backing up Achane, yes. Will Shipley, yes. Braylon Allen backing up. Oh, shit. I'm on the clock. Forgot I had 2 picks. Let's go Tillman. No time. Get it. All right. I don't know what I was doing. Sorry. That's the problem with simultaneously podcasting and doing a video. So, again, running back group here. Ray Davis, if Cook goes down. All of these names, you never feel good. Roshan Johnson, if Swift goes down. All of them, right? So this whole group of running back. The problem is when you're doing this kind of draft, if you go hero running back, which means take one really good running back and then take a bunch of these backups. That's what I would assume hero running back means to most people. You're still taking one high pick running back, but then all the rest of them are these sort of backup guys. When they come through, what ends up happening is that some of these guys will absolutely come through and become starters and do their thing. Marshawn Lloyd in the mix as well. Jarquez Hunter from the Rams. You said Jarquez, but I don't know that it's not Blake Corum. That's why I say with Jarquez, I don't know. What if it's Blake Corum? I see Hunter's going ahead of Blake Corum, so I guess the field has decided. I don't know. But Tajay Brooks, maybe he comes in if Brown goes down and has a monster season as well. So I don't have any exposure to Tajay Brooks, but that's how you win the tournament. So when you build that style, what I'm thinking is you probably need more of these backup running back types, more of them, like a larger volume of them, which means in order to really pull off a lineup that's really hero RB focused, what we need to do, sure, we take our one running back, but you've got to get true stud wide receivers to the point where after you get your first 4 or even 5 of them, you're so confident in that group of wide receivers that you don't really push the issue. So you end up with maybe just a total of 6, where you go heavier at running back and you get 6 or 7 of those because you know that most of your guys are backups and you have to take the ones that are going to be replacing starters on your team, or that will need to be elevated. You got to hope for luck, basically. Luck meaning a guy gets hurt and one of your guys gets elevated, or extreme luck, which is really what you need in order to win the tournament, where 2 of your late pick running backs get elevated. They're starting. They're leading the way for you. And because of those 2, you have this stud group of wide receivers on your team that is superior to everybody else who is in the tournament still because they had to take running backs early. That was a long-winded thought and explanation process. Does that make sense, what I just said? Because I don't even know what the fuck I was talking about. I lost my place, lost my train of thought. I don't even know what I'm saying. All I know is I only have one quarterback so far. Bryce Young is going ahead of some interesting names. Quarterback is just thinning out like crazy. Stroud, Penix, Stafford. There goes Stroud. We're down to Penix, Stafford, Cam Ward, Geno, and Darnold, and then Richardson and Daniel Jones. I like Richardson and Daniel Jones this year, especially Danny Jones this year. I like me some dimes. We're also light at tight end right now, so we'll have to see how that goes. Yeah, the 3-name kid in Washington. Yeah, I mean, Ty Johnson will have some big games. I don't know that Ty Johnson is a true backup, though. Like Ray Davis is there. So I don't think he's going to win you the league. Davis could be a league winner if James Cook gets hurt. That I would agree there. Hell yeah. Right? He could win you the league. The 3-name kid from Washington, yes, maybe 7th-round draft pick, not going to get super excited. And the problem in Washington is they have other names. Like, you need 2 guys to really go down in order for the 3-name kid to kind of show up and be relevant. All right, here we go. Penix, Stafford. So I'm going to take Penix here. And do I have a stack with him? Yeah, I have already Darnell. And I'm going to, I really want to take Kyle Pitts, but I actually think Kyle Pitts is garbage. You know what? Fuck it. It is a GPP. So we got our secondary stack with Penix and Kyle Pitts and Darnell Mooney. Got a primary stack with Mayfield, Evans, Godwin, and Igbuga. We got the whole group. I might even be able to get Kate Otten in there and just complete the cycle. So we might be able to get the whole Tampa Bay team. I think that's kind of cool. I like it. I want to do that. So we're going to try to push for that. Yeah. More of a stack probably with Allen Peace than somebody. So, but the theme here, guys, is who are the running backs that can actually win you the league by having them. I think Jalen Wright is on that list. Shipley, that can basically the running backs that can fuel your 0 RB approach or your hero RB approach to building a best ball team. Remember, if the appropriate way to build for the eliminator is to build a team that's strong early, heavy laden with studly starting running backs who are your high picks, then there is a theme and theory, and I would say probably a correct theory, although very difficult to really want to do, but you got to force yourself, that says exactly what works for the eliminator is what doesn't work in this content. Like, we should probably just be waiting on running backs and trying to really luck into these late picks that get the start. And I think the best way to do it is to come through with, you still need a couple of guys scoring for you early. So you wait those first 3-4 rounds or 5 rounds. And well, let's actually look at the draft board here. And when you look beyond, let's say, the first 5 rounds, you get all these stud. Let's say we get all these stud. I'm just make sure my pick isn't coming up. But let's say we get all these stud wide receivers in our first 5 rounds of picks. So we get into round 6, and it's like, okay, Trey Henderson, Caleb Johnson, James Conner, fine. Round 7, you got Pacheco and Swift. So if you started these first 5 rounds without any running backs, and then just kind of went Pacheco, Swift, okay. That means I've got 5 super stud wide receivers, and then I just started with a couple of yeoman-like running backs. Probably not how I'd want to go into a let's see where we're at here, but probably not how I'd want to go into like a season long. But in a best ball, okay. Round 5 and 6, we start getting our running backs, or 6 and 7, Pacheco, Swift, Henderson. Round 7, this is where we get Mason. Start with those backup types, Benson. Get those guys in there. Maybe our first 5 rounds, we went 3 wide receiver, then luxury QB and luxury tight end. We got it all. And only started taking running backs in round 6. Wow, we got to do that next. I'm actually going to have to do a lineup like that at some point very soon, because now I'm intrigued by it. I'm intrigued by the whole thought. What the hell did I even... Oh, there's Thornton. Wow, 15.9. All right. That's moving up way too high. That's way too high. I'm just watching to see if Shipley gets taken here. If I can get Will Shipley with this next pick, we're going to continue that. Yes, we can. We're going to continue the theme. All right. We got Benson, and now we got Shipley, a couple of running backs who, if things go a certain way, will win us the whole thing. Here I'm going to take Cade Otton to complete that insane Baker Mayfield and everybody connected to him stack. I like this team. I think I've built a really cool team. This is this is one of my favorite teams I've built so far for like a puppy style contest, guys. I'm really liking this one. Yeah. So what if we did, and remind me of this for like maybe the next one, because this is our last drafts for today, but we start 0 RB. We do the first 5 picks. We get 3 wide receiver, a tight end, and a QB. So how would I pull that off? Let's say we get, and I want them to be super elite, all of them, which means you're talking wide receiver in round 1, probably another wide receiver in round 2, tight end in round 3, maybe Bowers or Trey McBride, and then QB in round 4. That's probably Hurts. Yeah, probably where Hurts goes. Can mix that up a little bit. Yeah, and by the way, I do think that helped. I think it does help a little bit when, half of the watchers here aren't in here with me. It allows a player on occasion to drop to me that normally wouldn't. I didn't get my Wandy Rob, but I got a lot of my guys. So I really like this draft so far. But I am intrigued by this 0 RB strategy. Yeah. Is that how you want to do it? So like, what if you did, all right. So what if round 1, super stud wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, whatever, CeeDee Lamb. Round 2, Brock Bowers. Round 3, Josh Allen / Lamar. Round 4, go back to wide receiver, DJ Moore / Devontae Adams or whoever's there. Round 5, another wide receiver. So we complete the trifecta. Round 5, who are the wide receivers in round 5? You're getting these are less good, right? Actually, round 5, I wouldn't even mind if we did the first 4 rounds that approach with 2 and 2, and then round 5, Pickens. But at this point too, I could see grabbing a Chuba if he drops. The wide receivers already by round 5 start to drop off. So I'm looking in round 4. You still have really good guys: Metcalf, DJ Moore, Ted McMillan. I feel even George Pickens, I pull him at a certain level. But round 5, I do see a bit of a drop off here. So maybe that's kind of how I would work it. But, let's kind of play that out here. If you're picking 4th, CeeDee Lamb, Brock Bowers, Lamar, and with 45, Moore and McMillan are gone. Xavier Worthy, maybe Pickens here. I'm kind of like trying to look at these guys to see if they should be considered elite tier. Probably not, right? Very beginning, Metcalf, yes. Moore, Ted McMillan, yes. So let's say you start kind of in the middle here. Wait, I'm about to be on the block soon. Hold on. Oh, we're coming to the last round. Hold on. We got my last pick coming up. So let's see what the hell we have going on. I got 3 tight ends, 5 running backs, 6 wide receivers. I'm a little light at wide receiver right now. Are there any other of these running backs who could step up? Got Blake Corum, Marshawn Lloyd, Tajay Brooks. Not too much. I think Marshawn Lloyd is the next best guy that could step up, but I don't need more running backs. I need wide receivers and can use a tight end and can definitely use a QB. The QBs are basically done, so I'm not going to take one of them. I think I should go double wide receiver here. Checking the bye weeks. Bye week not relevant. All right, we're on the clock. Oops. I'm going to take Keenan Allen with one of those picks. Grab a 4th tight end. And there we go. We are knocking out drafts, man. This is crazy. Yes. Fuck it. Soups, I feel like we're on the same headspace. Once you get to Zay, they're all the same guy. That's why he's not a good pick. Like, once you get there, it's just kind of like, I don't like this guy. I don't like that. Let's look at – I want to explore what you just said here, Soups. This is so on point, man. This is so on point. Look at this. You get to Zay, and it's like they're all fucking Zay. Zay, Smith, Ridley I like. Travis Hunter, sketchy, right? Jerry Jeudy, sketchy. Godwin is even going to play. Myers, I like him. Olave's a disaster pick. Olave's one of the worst picks. That is definitely going in my video. Olave, bad pick. Zay Flowers, bad pick. I love this. We're gonna have some fun videos we're making on this theme. Stay tuned for that, guys. Stay tuned for that. Just final thoughts on the lineup I built here, guys. So again, it's funny. We're talking about 0 hero RB, so we're gonna be doing some of that. But just overall for this lineup today, Henry, HN, Kyren Williams. Obviously with Henry, I love Henry. HN, if these guys stay healthy, they should be a wonderful starting crew of running backs for this team. HN is the riskiest. We built a Baker stack with Evans, Godwin, Baker, Igbuka. 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row. This is obviously going to be a difficult week. Difficult bye week. to get past, but who cares? They're all in the same week. We got Darnell Mooney, who I love. Evan Ingram at tight end. And then we paired up Mooney with Penix, and we got Penix in there with Pitts. So we got a little secondary Atlanta stack. Yeah, Tampa, like this field should be scared. Like, how the fuck did we let this guy get the entire Tampa Bay passing offense? Like, what are we, crazy? Okay, give me that. I will take that. I will roll with that offense as a stack. The only negative would be there's one more wide receiver from that team, one thing. And two, I feel very concerned about these guys staying healthy. But, hey, this is best ball. This is GPP tournament. This isn't cash game. Later on, we just filled out our tight ends. We got some of these running backs that I was talking about. Benson and Will Shipley, both guys who will win you the league if there's an injury ahead of them. So that's what I want to focus on for the next one. So pay attention to that. For the next one we're going to talk about zero RB. We'll build some zero RB. We'll build some hero RB. We'll talk about defining those, what those things are, and why they might work to help win tournaments. So get in. Well, as we keep pressing through the summer, let's kind of talk more about some of the theories and strategies behind best ball that really, you have to be doing this a long time, get deep in those strategies. What's for lunch? I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it right now. Really what I want is a pizza pie. I want to eat a whole pie, just me. I'm not sure I'm going to do it. I don't like the Harvey upside shot. I think Harvey is one of those bad picks, guys. So I'm not going to be on that. But and the Zay Flowers, Kenny Walker, Connor. I like Connor there. Trevion Henderson, yes. Maybe Jacoby Myers, Romo Dunze is a reasonable, I think, risk. So there's some other spots to go. But guys, awesome as always. I appreciate everybody hanging out with me for these. These are long. We're doing best ball drafts. A lot of you guys didn't get in these drafts with me today. So I appreciate everybody hanging out, even when we're not drafting simultaneous. Remember, we're doing best ball Draft-a-Palooza Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon. Although, stay tuned, notification bell on. I might switch one of these to 5 if it's a beautiful day out, want to get some sun. So be aware that I am allowing for a 5 p.m. adjustment on the best ball of Palooza when necessary, because it is summertime and trying to go outside a little bit, touch some grass, get a little sunlight every once in a while, as we all should be doing. So we'll think about that. I appreciate everybody hanging out, guys. Good teams this time. We're going to keep drafting best ball teams all summer long. I'll see you guys next time, everybody. Take care.